Hey everyone, my name is Dom Hart and I'm a senior health fitness recreation major, and I just would like to apologise first if I say any words that don't make sense because I'm not from this country. So if you don't understand anything, just yell out and I'll try to use the American definition of it. But I am here to talk about how physical activity can help reduce stress levels and stuff like that. And who here has been stressed before? Just raise your hands. Yeah, stress is it's part of everyday life. You can't avoid it. It's always going to be there, whether it's just an exam or a presentation that you have to give. But according to the American Psychological Association, stress is defined as a negative condition or a positive condition that can have an impact on a person's mental or physical well-being. Now, there are three types of stress. There's acute stress, episodic acute stress, and chronic stress. The most common form is acute stress. That's the one where you're fearing something that just happened or something that's coming out in the near future, and you can't take your mind off it. It's pretty much dominating for the next few hours, few days, a week, whatever it is. It's the most common form, and it usually starts with a thrill or a sense of excitement, but as it goes on, you start to feel worn out, you start to feel tired, and you just want it over and done with. Usually acute stress will only last a little bit, and you can tell that you're stressed out because you have migraines, headaches, but as soon as you're done with it, it's usually gone. And then the next one was episodic acute stress. That there is pretty much exactly the same as acute stress, except it can last anywhere from a day to a couple of months. It's not continuous, but you have stress in like a pattern sort of thing. So it's the same symptoms. You have migraines, you have your jaws hurting, migraines, headaches, stuff like that. Now the worst one is chronic stress. This here is the grinding stress that wears people away day after day, year after year. Chronic stress destroys bodies, minds, and lives. It wreaks havoc through long-term attrition. And this is the type of stress that it lasts for months and years. It's the stress that you get when you can't make bills, you're living in poverty, and your job, you don't like your job, stuff like that. It's the stuff that is just long term. It's something you can't get rid of just like that, like acute stress. And what can happen if you leave stress unattended? Leaving stress unattended can lead to a lot of health risks, such as mental health problems. And the main one that stress usually leads to is depression. I've known a lot of mates, a lot of friends that have been stressed out and they've fallen down to depression, but they picked themselves up, which is good. It can also lead to cardiovascular diseases, obesity/eating problems, menstrual or sexual insufficiencies, skin and hair problems, and gastrointestinal problems. So if you feel like you're stressed out and you can't handle anything, you need to go talk to someone. Maybe a parent, a friend, anything, because you don't want that to keep going, because if it does, your health's going to deteriorate. Okay, now, how can exercise help with reducing stress? Physical activity can help reduce stress levels because it fuels the stress buffers in our brains, the things that tell us that, just don't worry about it. It gives us a sense of relief to be out, moving the body and doing what you want to do. Sitting down, when you're sitting down and you're thinking about, what you're going to do, you're there, you're just thinking about it the whole time. But if you're up and moving, your mind's somewhere else. You're not really thinking about it. You're thinking, if you're going for a run, you're thinking, I need to put my left foot in front of my right foot, not I have a test tomorrow. So, stuff like that. Exercise increases a person's endorphin levels. And what endorphins are, they are a brain chemical known as a neurotransmitter that transmits electrical signals within the nervous system. And they have a common factor with stress and pain, and endorphins pretty much work on the same level as what morphine does. If you know what morphine is, it helps reduce pain. Endorphins are pretty much along the same line as that, but they're natural. And so prolonged exercise increases the endorphin levels within you, which means you get a sense of relief. You're no longer thinking about it, you just feel a lot happier. And it leads to things such as euphoria, different appetite, release of sex hormones, and a reduction of factors that are involved with stress, such as headaches, sore joints, stuff like that. Okay, now there's some research going into this thing. It's called, it's relatively new, but it's coming up now. It's called a mood enhancement. A mood enhancement is a state of mind where you can feel the tension of the day, week, months, or years alleviate while participating in physical activity. Dr. Michael Otto, PhD, Professor of Psychology at the University of Boston, says that the link between exercise and mood is pretty strong. Usually within 5 minutes of moderate exercise, you experience a mood enhancement. Another psychologist, James Blumenthal, PhD of Duke University, has said there is an epidemiological data to suggest that active people are less depressed and stressed than inactive people. There are ongoing tests and research in the mood enhancement, but so far the effects of physical activity and this mood enhancement has been pretty positive. So I hope they continue with stuff like that. Okay, this is another one I found. It was a study done in 2003 by a doctor called Mark Hammer and his colleagues from the Department of Epidemiology and Public Health at the University of London. They performed a study on about 3,200 people, and what they did is they'll visit a household, and they visit it twice, and the first time they visit, they get their weight, the height, just the general measurements. And then the next time they visit, they give them what is called in London, it's called a GH12, which is a general health, GHQ12, which is a general health questionnaire. But what this questionnaire does, it tries to see what psychological stress factors may be in their life, and then they go back and they put the data together, and they figure out which ones are more stressed and which ones are not. And what they found was that people that performed exercise that lasted longer than 20 minutes were a lot less stressed than the people that sat down or did not exercise. And the study, people also tried to pass off like dusting as exercise and stuff, like vacuuming the house and stuff like that, and they disregarded that because you're not really moving, you're just doing that. So they disregarded that. And another thing that they found was that the majority of the people that were less stressed were young, unmarried, didn't have a serious job, compared to the people that were the stressed ones. They had mortgages, they were married, they had kids. So what I get from that is that the more, you know, as you grow up and you get a family, you get a house, the more inactive you become, which increases stress levels. And then I found this other little factoid which I like. Jennifer Carter, PhD, at the Center of Balanced Living in Ohio, when she has people come in, she doesn't just sit down in an office, she walks around with her patients, because she's found that when they're moving, they're more likely to open up to her instead of just sitting there. So I found that really interesting. She counsels patients and she walks around. So I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, they're walking and they're opening up. Okay, and so physical activity can help reduce stress levels, but what it can also do, it also has a lot of extra health benefits, such as it strengthens your heart, increases energy levels, lowers blood pressure, improves muscle tone and strength, and builds stronger bones. It helps reduce body fat and makes you look fitter and healthier. So while you're trying to reduce your stress levels, you're also doing something awesome, like something awesome for your body, which I think, you know, is just another reason why you should be doing physical activity to reduce stress. Now I want to, a personal story about how I think physical activity can reduce stress. I had a friend back home, and he played this sport. He was really good at it. It's called Australian football. And he was going to make it. You could tell he was. He was playing Colts level, which is just below the professional level. And then he had his first knee injury. And he was like, oh, it's just one knee injury. I'll get the surgery, get the rehab. I'll go back out there and play. His first game back in the first quarter, he had another knee injury. So he goes back. He's starting to, you know, doubt himself a little bit now. He goes back, gets a surgery, does the rehab, comes back. In the third quarter, another knee injury, same knee. So he's had three knee problems now, and now he started to doubt he's ever going to make it. This mate had dropped out of high school early to pursue this career. He was that confident he was going to make it. And then after the third knee surgery, he kind of just went downhill. He had no idea what he was going to do. He doesn't have his high school diploma. He doesn't have anything. So he started to stress out about life. And he started making some wrong decisions. And then one day, his dad, his father, just walked into his room and said, "Come on, we're going for a walk." So, you know, just to walk around the block for about 20 minutes or so. And they started doing that every day. And then it slowly increased to jogging, and then running, and then doing all these different exercises. And he's back to his happy self. He's no longer that sad, depressed, stressed out guy wondering what's going to happen. He's back on the footy field. And I didn't speak to him yesterday, but I went online, and he got drafted by Collingwood, which is one of the professional teams in Melbourne. So he's back. And as I just wanted, I think that there's just an example of how physical activity can bring you back up. Okay, and lastly, there are a lot of people that haven't exercised in a long time, or they don't know what they're doing. So I want to just leave some tips of how to get started. And how to get started, these are just some small tips, and it's like 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week. Just jog, walk, cycle, just something small just to get you going. Set small daily goals and aim for daily consistency. So you don't want to, so if you've only got 20 minutes, take that 20 minutes. You don't want to wait for the weekend and try to smash out a 3-hour workout, because if you don't do it, you're going to be disheartened and you're probably not going to continue with it. So you want to just go with consistency, and then find forms of exercise that you find fun and enjoyable. So if you don't like running, don't run. Cycle, play sports. Just find something that you find enjoyable. Distract yourself with something. Bring an iPod, a book, something that takes your mind off it, because I know when I hop on the treadmill, I want to get off straight away because I don't like running in spots. So music usually helps people, books help people. Bring homework. Just something that distracts you from it. And then recruit an exercise buddy. Bring someone with you that will motivate you, because if you have that motivation, you're more likely to keep going. And then be patient. The last thing, that's probably the most important one, is to be patient, because you're not going to see changes straight away. So be patient and stick with it, and you'll see results. And I guarantee you will be less stressed and you will be a happier person for it. Thank you. Are there any questions? No.